Here's the countdown. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for being so patient while we were working out technology bugs, and hopefully everything works right. And, technology doesn't crash. Let me unload some of the stuff that I got going on so we're not too choppy. But welcome, everyone. I am Certified Life and Veteran Development Coach Ariel Renal, and I am host of the Veteran Woman podcast, an author and a speaker and an Army veteran. Today I have Roberto. Say your last name because I cannot say it for the life of me and I do not want to mess it up. Candelaria.
Candelaria. Hey, you.
Candelaria. So some of you may be wondering, like, Ariel, how does sponsorships and everything fit in with your business model? Well, for many of you, those who know me well know that I love to connect people to other people. I love networking and I love building relationships. And Roberto was on my podcast and his episode was published yesterday. So make sure to go over to theveteranwoman.com. Do you have your phone on live too?
Oh, we are good. Actually, I turned on the video. See, ladies and gentlemen, this is okay. Technology. I turned it on the computer to try to share it to a group, and then all of a sudden, I could hear you talking twice.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I'm getting feedback. I hear myself. So Roberto was on the podcast. And while we were doing the interview, he asked me, what questions do I have? And I drew a complete blank. So I was like, you know what would be better is if we do it so that my network, my audience, my tribe can ask questions themselves. So I don't know how long we have them. How long do we have you, Roberto?
I don't have anything till 8:45, so I've got like an hour and 40 minutes. So we'll see how much time we use here.
So ask away whatever questions you have, and we do have some questions that I posted from Facebook, and I will be asking those. And in the chat, I can see your chat, so make sure to post in the chat your questions that you have, and I will show it. So let me check chat right now. And hopefully everybody is in. Everybody. All right, Roberto, so would you like to introduce yourself? We know you're a Disney lover, you're a wine lover, you're a chief disruption officer, sponsorship guru.
Oh, I'm sharing this video to a couple different groups right now, and so I'm paying attention. I really am. So my name is Roberto Candelaria. And I am an uncle, a dreamer, and a Disney kid at heart. But most importantly, what I love doing more than anything else is teaching people how to fund their dreams with other people's money by getting sponsored. And whether you're a for-profit or a nonprofit or need profit, whether you are just starting out or you've been in a business for many years, maybe you're at a place where you haven't even started out. You've got that idea that you're just like, you know what? I just want to write this down on a paper napkin someplace. There are sponsors for that too as well. And so what I love doing is helping people learn how to get sponsored, whether they're just starting out or have been in business 20 or 30 years. The thing I know is that as long as your business is legal, there's probably a sponsor for you out there. And what I love to do is teach people how to find those sponsors so they can get more checks, so they can have the impact and the influence that they want in the world.
So what is the story about as long as it's legal? There has to be a story behind that, because every time I talk to you, you make sure to mention that.
Yes, there is a story to that. And you know what that story is that here's the thing. So I was at an event this one time, and I'm not going to say what event because I don't want to get nobody's event in trouble. But we were at an event, and I said, I'm not going to say whose event.
Oh, goodness.
And as usual, I was teaching about sponsorship, and I made this statement that I believed that just about anything could be sponsored as long as somebody could see value in it. And so I had this gentleman walk up to me and he says, so you said that you really believe that anything could be sponsored as long as someone can see value in it. And I was like, oh, I wholeheartedly believe that. And he goes, oh man, I'm so happy to hear that. And he hands me this book. And I mean, it's a mini book, right? It's, you know, if you were to take the size of like, I don't know, like your checkbook, right? Like the width of your checkbook and
Right.
maybe 3/4 of that tall. And the book's like that. It's a mini book, almost the size of a pamphlet, several pages long. But the book, what it was how to start your own marijuana business and how to grow marijuana. And I was just like, no, 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 that's not what I'm talking about. But he was dead
But that is
serious.
legal in some states.
But he was like, well, see, but I wasn't even saying legal yet at that point. I was just saying somebody's got to see value in it. And I was just like, oh, no, 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 no. And then they started telling me where they lived. And this thing wasn't legal where they lived. And so I
Oh,
decided, I was like, you know what? We need to start saying that, you know what? This is about whatever you're going to have sponsored. It needs to be legal and somebody has to see value in it, but we got to start with legal. And so I've just started saying that because I never thought I'd actually have to say that, but apparently you do.
well, thank you for that introduction, and thank you for that story about why you mentioned that it has to be legal. Do you have me on something? Because I'm hearing the feedback again. I just want to make sure.
I do not.
Okay. Okay, it's gone. All right. It kind of bugs me when I hear myself. I'm like, okay, is it the mic? Is it the computer feedback? What is it? So are you ready for questions, or do you have something you want to say before we jump right into the questions?
Actually, you know what? I'm totally for questions. Let's do questions. But what I want to do first is if you could put your link in the comments thing, and let's talk about that now. And then we'll talk about it like throughout the thing as well. But I want to make sure that we go ahead and get that out there for people because the thing I know about Facebook Live or Periscope or anything, things people are going to pop in whenever they want and they're going to leave whenever they want. And
True.
so I want to make sure that they have access to this information. We'll answer questions. We'll chat, but I want to make sure that we give people an opportunity to know where this is as well.
Here we
How
go.
do I do the countdown there? Do what? I don't know what you're talking about there, the countdown there. Okay, yeah.
I'll talk to her about that. That was more of a tech thing. 'Cause,
Okay, I was like, I don't know what that means. so,
yeah.
so ladies and gentlemen, just so y'all know, May 28th to June 1st, I have a brand new 5-day training program, absolutely free. You don't got to pull out a credit card or anything. The only thing you got to pull out is your name and your email address. And if you go to the link there that she's got there, bit.ly/sponsor jumpstart. So bit.ly/sponsor jumpstart. It'll get you over to the page where you can pop in your name and email address, learn about Sponsorship Jumpstart. And for 5 whole days, May 28th to June 1st, in less than 30 minutes a day for 5 days, I'm going to teach you how to jumpstart your sponsorship program for an epic remainder of sponsorship in 2017 and beyond. So if you're really interested in sponsorship and you know that it's not just a passing fad and you want to learn more in-depth information about how you can get sponsored, whether you're a for-profit or nonprofit or simply need some profit in your business, and yes, there are people who have accidental nonprofits, head on over to bit.ly/sponsor jumpstart to be able to do that. So I'm going to follow you with questions and let's rock and roll.
All right. So I highly recommend you going to bit.ly/sponsor jumpstart. I just crammed over the weekend sponsorships 101 because I
Yes.
wanted to prep for this interview because I wasn't quite fully prepared for the podcast interview as far as asking questions. So I crammed that in. I did not sleep at all. So I'm running on 24 hours of fume. I feel like I'm in Austin again with April, but we're going to get this done. So first question, can you define the differences between a sponsor, a partner, a supporter, and a donor?
You know I'm going to forget all of those in that order. But here. Oh no, there was like a
Let me see
delay
if I
there.
can.
It's
It
interesting. There's
was.
a couple times where there's like this lag time, and so I'm just gonna. I heard most of it, and I'm gonna talk. And if I forgot one of them or maybe two of them, let me know, and we'll get there. I'm sharing this one more place here to make sure that people get to see us. Perfect. Okay, so here's the deal for me and my definitions and the ways that I like to play. So there's a lot of people that like to say, oh, I got a sponsor for this or I got a sponsor for that. And people like to throw the word sponsorship around. And one of the things, in fact, one of the very first conversations that you and I had was really talking about in the podcast world and the difference between advertisement and sponsorship. So I guess we can start by saying that to me, sponsorship is when you have a property, and for to keep it simple for today, a sponsorship property is anything that you want to have sponsored. So when you have that sponsorship property, that thing that you want to get sponsored, whether that be a book, an event, whether it be your speaking, whether it be products, whether it be courses, no matter what it be that you want to get sponsored, then, oh, that threw me off when that popped up there. I was like talking, and I saw these like this thing pop up. I'm ADD, y'all.
I
Y'all will
was
learn
trying to
that.
help you out.
So what happens when we have this property, right? And that property, like I said, is whatever it is that we're going to have sponsored. When we have this property, we're just like, okay, I want a sponsor, no matter what it is that we're going to have sponsored. And then sometimes, for me, people misunderstand or misrepresent the word sponsor. So to me, a sponsor is when you have a property, i.e., whatever it is that you want to get sponsored, and somebody gives you either cash or check or product or services in exchange for value to help reach their business goals, and all this is done by your business contract, then that is a sponsorship. So that's a sponsorship. And what that means is there was an agreement, right? There's a legal agreement that says if I give you X, whatever X is, then you're going to give me Y in order to be sponsored. And so there is this exchange. However, it's a little bit different than a donation, because with the donation, you could be doing this same work, have this same property. However, someone gives you something because they like you. It's a pat on the back. They love what they're doing. And so a good example here, we'll pick a brand and let's say Best Buy. And so let's say that, there was an organization doing some work and Best Buy said, hey, you know what? I want to give you a 70-inch TV for you to give away as a raffle item. That is an example of a donation. However, if Best Buy were to have that same 70-inch TV and say, you know what? We're going to take a sponsorship level of X and give you this for this 70-inch TV, the type of exposure and benefits we want are ABC. And then there's a document that's signed to make sure that they get ABC. That is a sponsorship. Now you notice it was the exact same thing, right? So this person had the same event, the same book tour, the same whatever it was. And either way, they were getting this 70-inch TV. It's just that with a donation, there's no legal expectation, right? It's just, here's the TV. However, with the sponsorship, there's an agreement in place, a legal document that says, when we do this, this is the value that we receive in return for that. Now, where that's different in terms of like, let's say a brand ambassador. So brand ambassadors are people who will go out and promote. And that's essentially a type of like an affiliate program per se, where they go out and they promote whatever it is that you're doing, but never actually give you a check for that level sponsorship. We might have said that, oh, they're a sponsor at this level, but that's not true sponsorship. We're giving them advertisement because they were a brand ambassador. And I find that it's the same with partners as well. So, you can have a promotional partner. And what that means is that promotional partner gave you some sort of item or gave you some type of exposure to assist with promotion. But while they were assisting with that promotion, they also got a promotion out of it as well. But there was not a legal agreement that said, when you promote me this way, I have to promote you this way. And so that's the real difference right there.
Ah, thanks for clarifying that. That was my question. So that was a little self-serving, but it was it was something I was really wondering, because Leslie, who also asked a lot of questions, and that's perfectly fine. I'm glad she asked the questions that she did. We just finished taking April's event producing profit hacking conferences for event producers.
I heard that was good.
Or
I've
something like that.
from people that attended
Her
it.
event boot camp training, and it was amazing. So putting that together and putting sponsorships together, I know Leslie is excited. I'm excited for my veterans conference I have coming up in September. So we're trying to get all of this in there, make it make sense, and implement it as soon as possible. So the next question, are you ready for the next question?
I am.
All right. So the next question is, how much to ask for according to the size of an event? So a lot of these are event questions is what I'm noticing.
Right. Yeah, so that's a great question. So the question is, and Leslie, by the way, the answer is 8:17 p.m. Eastern Standard Time from May 28th to June 1st. And for some reason you can't make it, there'll be replays, but go use Ariel's link there and you can get all the information on that.
Did you say 8:17?
I did say 8:17.
You know what? Okay, I know the psychology behind that because I was in direct sales. Because people remember it. You're like, 8:17? Did he say that? And that's how you remember it. Because when we did parties, we would do the same thing.
Yeah, well, we pick weird times as well because, like you said, people tend to remember, 8:17 over 8:15. They're going to think of everything else that's going on at 8:15, but they, when you do that 1 or 2 minutes off, it's just different enough that it makes enough of a difference. Which, if you'll remind me later, we can talk about benefits later and what that looks like. So the question is how much to ask for according to the size of the event? I'm going to start by saying, I think you said this was Leslie's question. Leslie, I'm going to start by telling you that a lot of the answers tonight are going to start with the same 2 words, okay? And it's not that I don't want to help you, it's that there's a lot of variables. And so the answer starts with, it depends, okay? And you're probably going to hear that a lot tonight because there's a lot of variables. Just like when somebody says, how big of an event venue do I need for my event? Well, it depends. Like, how many people are you going to have? Are you going to have a projection screen? Are you not going to have a projection screen? And so it's the same thing when we come to pricing event sponsorship. There are variables based on what it is that you're having sponsored, what type of event. There are variables based on how many people are going to the event and what type of people. And so to give a quick example here, let's say that we have 2 events here, one right here and one right here. And this event over here has 50 women entrepreneurs who are all rocking and rolling and doing amazing things, right? But then we have this event over here. And while they look similar, they both got thumbs in, both have 4 fingers. This is also 50 women, but this is 50 women who are all chief technology officers or basically C-level executives for Fortune 500 companies. Well, you see, they're both 50-person events. They're both 50 women events. The difference is one is 50 entrepreneurial women, and the other is 50 women who are C-level executives within Fortune 500 companies. There are different sponsors that are looking for these different audiences, and therefore the pricing structure would be completely different. So what's important to know in terms of starting to price your sponsorship program is to really figure out all of the details and as many demographics as you can, because the more demographic information you have, the easier it is to be able to price that. You see, sponsorship's not hard. If anything, sponsorship's very simple. It's just not easy. And that's one of the things I love about Sponsorship Jumpstart and Sponsor 101 is it allows us the opportunity to really take some deep dive and to do some hot seats on information like this. And so if you're going to be at the live training next week for Sponsorship Jumpstart with the link that Ariel put there, have some of this information, because I will be doing some hot seats on people. And I'm going to be looking for people that, like you said, how much to ask according to the size of your event. It's not just the size. What type of people? What is the event for? Because like I said, 50 women is 50 women, and that's absolutely awesome. But 50 entrepreneurial women versus 50 women who run nonprofit organizations versus 50 women who are C-level executives and Fortune 500 companies, it's a completely different audience. So I want to invite you to get very clear on this. In fact, I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make in sponsorship is looking for one set template, right? And there's not one set template. Now, there is a proven roadmap, which is how me and the organizations I've been able to work with have worked with over $18 million in sponsorship, because I've figured out a formula. I've figured out a roadmap. But that said, every single property is very unique. And that's why I take so much time one-on-one with the people that I work with to figure out, okay, what is it that you, like, what is it that works for just you? Because while the process is the same, it's the little intricate details that make it where we can help more people and help more people faster. Let's see.
Yeah, I definitely. I noticed that in the course. I noticed that in the course you have a chance to review our sponsorship proposal. So I'm definitely going to take advantage of that. I'm going to create my proposal and then take advantage of that one-on-one.
Well, actually, you know what? And
instead of
actually a great thing that you bring up here. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're not here to talk about a course. I am not going to be trying to sell you anything here tonight. The only thing that we want you to do is ask questions, and then go to bit.ly/sponsor jumpstart to join us for the 5-day absolutely free sponsorship jumpstart. That's the only thing we want. We're not trying to sell you a book. We're not trying to sell you a $500 course. None of that. We want to answer your question. That said, I'm going to reference a course from what you said, Ariel. And so, Ariel, in your experience in going back and listening to the sponsorship roadmap and going through some of the training, okay, here is the big picture. Here's the process, A, B, C. Here are the steps, A.1, A.2, B.1, B.2. But all of that's easy to fill in. The formula, it's kind of like a chocolate chip cookie recipe. You need flour, you need eggs, you need butter, you need chocolate chips. Some people might want pecans, right? But once you have all the ingredients, it's easy to make the recipe or make the formula. And so I'm excited to be able to look at your sponsorship proposal as one of our students in the course. Did that type of teaching help you?
It did. It did. And I had to be careful not to jump ahead, because I was like, oh, I just want to get to the templates. And then I said, no, he said, start from module 1 and go through, because it builds on the other modules. So I had to pace myself.
Oh, yes. And and it's so funny you say that, because what I get, and it's the number one thing that I get, in fact, even right now as we're getting ready for Sponsorship Jumpstart, the number one question that we're getting as people ask to join the Facebook group, and we ask, what's your number one question about sponsorship? The number one question, hands down, that we're getting